Hello and welcome to Ask the Expert, the show where you can connect directly with experts to get your questions answered live. Today we're going to be talking about Windows 365. So go ahead and get your Windows 365 adoption questions into the chat, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. I'm Brian Taylor. I'm a product marketing manager for Windows 365. And with me today, I've got Christian Brinkoff, someone that many, if not most of you already know. He's a feature PM on our engineering team for Windows 365. Christian, welcome.
Thanks, Brian. Great introduction. So happy to be here and answer all your questions you have. So please type it in right now in the question bar so we can get them addressed as soon as possible.
Yeah. Great. We'll take questions live for the next half hour or so. So cook those up, get them into the chat. In the meantime, let me give you some background here. We GA'd the product in August, and since then we had a phenomenal launch. Lots of interest. We got had a really overwhelming response to the trials. It's just kind of an indication of the level of interest in the product that quickly sort of reached capacity within just a few hours after launch, and we had to go back and adjust some capacity on the back end to deal with that. So, and since then, it's just been a steady beat of interest, whether we're talking about trying it out in environments in small numbers or large deployments, which we have quite a number of now at this point, both across the business edition and the enterprise edition product. And we're not limiting the questions today to either of those, so feel free to ask questions about whichever one you may be interested in. But the other thing to keep in mind about the product, despite the really great response we've had, we're constantly evolving the product. So every monthly release, there's new things coming along. Great example of that is native AADJ support for the Enterprise Edition, which we were announced at Ignite recently, and really excited about. That's been something that we've had probably the number one ask from customers for the Enterprise Edition since we launched the product. But while we're waiting for you to get your questions in, Christian, I've got a couple of softballs for you here just to kind of set the stage. What are the difference between the enterprise and business products with regard to OS and device management? How do you think about those? What's the easiest way to think about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just to set the context a little bit, Windows 365 Enterprise is what it is called, the more enterprise-grade product, which gives you all the great features such as custom images support, as well as Endpoint Manager, Microsoft Endpoint Manager support. So you can use Intune and all those other capabilities to distribute and publish applications to your cloud PCs, security baselines, policies, all kinds of features you currently use for your physical PC as well. However, now for your cloud PC, really to marry those two consoles with each other. That can qualify the enterprise product best. And we have as well the business product, and the business product is more focused for smaller organizations. So if you think about the enterprise product, you think about 300 plus users in your organization. And if you think about the business product, you think about one user up to 300 users. And one main difference between those two environment or two products is the environment you manage it in. So with the enterprise product, you use the admin center, the Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center console to do everything from the provisioning and the creation to your cloud for your cloud PCs to as well the creation of policies and everything that I just explained. With business, you have a separate console. So it's the admin.microsoft.com portal where you do the licensing. And then on top of that, you use the Windows 365 Microsoft.com portal where you can do like some rebooting and end user capabilities, self-service capabilities. And soon you can do as well if you're an IT admin, you can do reboots, resets on behalf of users, and as well make sure that your user is provisioned with Windows 11 or Windows 10. And one of the other new features that's coming soon, later this calendar year, is is the user or local administrator selection option. So you can decide whether your user becomes a local administrator or not, where it is currently like a local administrator as a standard configuration. So from a console perspective, you really have to see that Windows 365 Enterprise is a like product that's completely configured via the Admin Center, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center via Endpoint Manager, and the business is a separate portal via Windows365.microsoft.com and the admin.microsoft.com portal. And from an operating system management perspective, business auto updates, so you don't have to deal with Windows updates and such. It's all happening automatically. With the enterprise product, you are in control of everything yourself. So you can in the MEM console, you can go to update settings and then apply just like a build update or going from Windows 10 to Windows 11 yourself at your own pace. So as part of the enterprise grade features we deliver as part of the Windows 365 enterprise product. So very dynamic set of features available for enterprise and business. So it depends how big your organization is, how simple your experience would be and needs to be, determines whether the two products fit best. You can use a combination of both products as well if you want to, but vast majority of customers either go for business or for enterprise. So I hope that that helps to set some context here.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Christian. Very thorough. We got one that just came in from Gerald that we can get to here. How does the launch of Windows 11 affect our Windows 365 enterprise environment? Christian, you want to take that?
Yeah, another good question. So Windows 11 as part of Windows 365 Enterprise is supported since day one, since the 5th of October, and it doesn't really affect any configuration you have in your current Windows 365 Cloud PC environment. So if you currently use Windows 365 Cloud PC with Windows 10, you can just use Windows 11 on the side, so you can spin up new Cloud PCs, use Windows 11, and then just use it side by side. The other option you have is that you upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. So if you have cloud PCs that are provisioned before the 28th of September, it most likely means that your cloud PC is on an older hardware, software hardware floor iteration, meaning that it is based on Gen 1. So we made a backbone shift from Gen 1 to Gen 2 due to the hardware floor requirements of Windows 11. So just to answer your question straight, it's not a problem to either use Windows 11 or Windows 10 side by side. You're flexible. The only thing that you need to make sure is that if you are using cloud PCs provisioned before the 28th of September, if you want to upgrade those to Windows 11, you need to do a reprovisioning. And if you want to remain the data from that cloud PC up to Windows 11, you can just use the built-in integration of OneDrive, a known folder move that merge the data directly into your Windows 11 Cloud PC. So it's pretty seamless. You just need to make sure that your user has OneDrive licenses assigned in order to do so. Right. So that's pretty flexible. One thing to make your life even more easier is if you go to Endpoint Analytics, you can go to a new dashboard called Work from Home. Work from anywhere, and in there you can see whether your cloud PC is supported for Windows 11 for an in-place upgrade already. So I really encourage you to go to that new dashboard, click on Windows in that dashboard, and then you see whether your cloud PCs are supported to do an in-place upgrade to Windows 11. So I hope that addresses the question, and if there are further questions on top of that, please type them in the question bar as well.
Yeah, makes it easy. That endpoint analytics is fantastic for all kinds of things, from monitoring and understanding your environment with cloud PCs. But that I think it's important to make one point on top of all that, Christian. This changeover from the Gen 1 images to Gen 2, it doesn't affect a whole lot of folks that are likely to upgrade in our estimate. But in the future, just to understand, we don't anticipate another fundamental changeover like that. So let's say we're talking about down the road, Windows 11 to Windows 12. We don't anticipate there would be another changeover. This was really a kind of a one-time thing because we needed to get all of the TPM virtual TPM chip and other security features, virtual hardware-based features that Windows 11 requires. So we anticipate it's going to be a one-time thing. That said, once if you've provisioned anything after the 28th, you're on a Gen 2 image already, and then it just becomes a drop-down box selector. When you go to provision a new cloud PC, you can just basically choose whether you want to deploy Windows 10 or Windows 11. So thanks, Christian. We got another one that came in from Neil. Can you tell me more about what was announced at Ignite? We've done a couple of these recaps in different forms. One on our monthly video cast that we do, Windows in the Cloud. But if you want to give us a rundown of that stuff, Christian, you probably got that off the top of your head.
Yeah, definitely. So we've been busy during Ignite. We had a lot of sessions, a lot of excitement around the product, and a lot of new announcements as well. So Brian already called one very important feature release or announcement out in the intro here, Azure AD native support. So Azure AD native support means that you can use as part of enterprise Azure AD. So currently it's hybrid. So that means or that requires to bring in an Azure AD plus and domain controller and normal AD. Within Azure AD and native, you can just bring in an Azure AD tenant, and that's it. That's all you need to do. So that's coming soon. We are currently running internal previews, and you can sign up for that as well. So we will let you know the link in the chat after this live session. And that's the main feedback item, the number one feedback item that we received. So that's coming very soon. So as I said, we're already running successful internal previews, and the public preview or GA release is coming up very soon. Windows 11 support is the other very important one. We already called it out since the 5th of October. We support Windows 11 for enterprise with all the hardware floor requirements and the flexibility of the Cloud PC product to scale up and scale down. So you can be flexible whether your endpoint is supporting Windows 11 or not. It doesn't really matter. You can just open the web browser, or even Linux or Android is supported, or iOS to connect to Windows 11. So you can connect from a MacBook M1 like directly to your Windows 11 Cloud PC that runs in the Microsoft Cloud. So it's a very flexible way to just kick the tires with Windows 11 too, regardless from the endpoint scenario you have. For the business product, we announced as well Windows 11 support. So that's currently not in the product, but it's shipping very soon. And you have then the option to select Windows 11 or Windows 10. And the great thing about Windows 11 in terms of the updates from Gen 1 to Gen 2 is that you get all the security principles and enhancements as well for Windows 10, meaning that the VTPM as well as UEFI as well as Secure Boot are coming into Windows 10 as well. So another great announcement we did is around the portal experience. So if you go to windows365.microsoft.com and click on the right corner on enable this preview experience, you can enable the preview of the new portal experience. It's a new web portal experience we delivered native for Windows 365. And if you enable that, you see like our logo, our colors, and everything aligning with our product UX principles from like the moment you connect up to into the session. And you can change redirection settings like printer redirection and microphone redirection before as well as in the session. And on top of that, we increase the speed as well of the logon process. So if you click on the open button to log on to your Cloud PC, you will see that in just a matter of like a couple of seconds, you're directly in your Cloud PC and can log on and be productive. So it's a really great improvements from the UX side as well as from the performance side. And on top of that, we as well added capabilities to increase the keyboard layout settings. So you can do like Mandarin and other explicit keyboard layouts on top of the native like keyboard layout settings as part of Windows that we enhance in the portal experience. So that are the three main elements, but we like announced on a couple of other things as well. So think about point-in-time restore that is coming soon, meaning that if you have a Cloud PC and you want to go back like a week or something because you want to restore your file or any other settings that like are part of the operating system disk, we will offer that as well. So you can enable this point-in-time restore option, go back in time, and then you restore the data from like a week before. If you had any issues in your environment, you always have that backup that can deliver your cloud PC in the state where it was like a couple of days before. So that are the main announcements. So I hope that makes you excited. And we have a couple of more things coming up. So think about disk encryption. We work on BitLocker support. GPU support is currently being worked on as well. So all kinds of like new great features to all address like the feedback that we received over time directly to customers or via community channels. So keep doing that. If you go to ak.ms/W365 feedback, you go into the feedback portal. So please, put in your feedback items there as well. If there are things that you didn't hear or didn't saw coming up very soon, we are really eager to learn more about your feedback.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Christian. It's a fantastic recap. I think the point in time restore is one that I think is really cool, and I think that customers are going to get a lot out of that. That's a great feature that we're adding. So we got another one here from Milo. Is there a path to become? We've had a few conversations about this recently. Is there a path to become certified as a Windows 365 professional? And can I become a Microsoft partner, being a self-owned one-man company? I think the partner part of the question, I would have to defer to one of our partner managers who's an expert on how all the machinery works with regard to partnership. I'm not aware of any barriers on that front, but if you want to send something directly to any of us here, either Christian or myself, we can get you routed to the right place. Get you in front of the partner people so that you can talk to them about it. But as far as a path to become a certified Windows 365 professional, current status on that, we're basically working on it right now. Christian, you want to give the latest on what we're doing there?
Yeah, so we have been working hard together with the Microsoft certification professional team that creates the modern desktop certificates and as well the Azure certificates and everything around that you are familiar with. So the thing with Windows 365 is that the product is still 4 months out in GA. So normally when certificates land, the product has been like GA for like 6 months or so. So we are waiting for like either integrating our product into the modern desktop suite certificates in the track in 6 months from now. So we have that ramp up phase, because if you ask a question about a product that is only like 1 or 2 months like GA, it's fairly hard for some people to educate on that specific product, and potentially as well don't succeed in the exam while the product is still new. So we are waiting for 6 months, and then we will bring in the question. However, we are currently working on getting the questions into the update certificates. So there are other tracks as well that are available that are coming very soon, where you can just update your knowledge based on your existing certifications. So that's currently being worked on, and hope to share some news pretty soon on that once it is available. And if you want to train yourself even before that, you can look up like documentation or on Windows IT Pro Tech Community, or on the Windows in the Cloud video cast that Brian already called out, that we just released like last week with a Microsoft MVP. You can train yourself there as well. If you go to ak.ms/Windows in the Cloud, you can find all the episodes there. Another great thing you can do is purchase a book that I wrote together with another Microsoft FTE, which is called Mastering MEM, where you can deploy cloud PCs as well as Intune management and for physical PCs and cloud PCs, of course, as it called out. So if you go to, you already have it there. That's great.
Yeah, great book. It's highly recommended. It's a fantastic resource, and great for getting prepared for the exams when they become available. Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing what I wanted to add is aka.ms/masteringmem brings you up to the page where you can find that book. Maybe it's a good Christmas present. I'm pretty sure like there are some like Christmas discounts coming up real quick. So if you want to combine that, you are completely free to do so. We received great feedback on the book. The rest is exactly the need for content right now around like Windows 365 Cloud PC. So business as well as enterprise is covered in the book. So if you want to prepare, as Brian said, for the exam that's coming up, this is probably the best book that you can purchase today. So
Yeah. And another dimension of that 6-month period, as we were working with the folks that deal with the certifications within Microsoft, the education folks, they made it clear that they were really trying to get a realistic test for any given Microsoft product, and that this idea that you would create a bunch of theoretical questions and make that an exam that you could then get certified for a month into the product's life isn't a real reflection of the level of expertise that they want to see with regard to these certifications, which they really want to have value in the marketplace with regard to organizations hiring people or bringing in consultants or folks like that, where they really want to say, hey, this certification means that they really do have an understanding of the product. So the way they look at it is sort of 6 months of using the product kind of is really a big part of the key to the education, as well as the theoretical textbook stuff. So great idea to get your hands on it as well, because that's the sort of thing that they try to focus on. That said, we've got a couple more here from Jesus. Will remote help application, I assume, be available for Windows 365 through the Microsoft Intune portal? Will remote help application be available?
I can take this one. This is a pretty fresh one as well, because remote help application, remote help, like the feature that just has been announced during Ignite, is pretty new and fresh. So we plan to have exact the same integration ready for Windows 365 as for physical PCs. We only need to extensive test how it works and if it works as we expect, but there are no signals that it works differently. So you can expect that everything in terms of remote help will work exactly the same in cloud PC as on a physical PC. So just to give some context here, our mission, our principles around Windows 365, and then explicitly the enterprise product are to have the same management experience from a console perspective for your physical PC, as well as your cloud PC, as well as your mobile devices and other devices in your environment. Even Linux management is like announced during Microsoft Ignite. So expect that Microsoft Endpoint Manager becomes your unified pane of glass to do everything, whether it's your physical cloud PC, as I said earlier, as well as for your capabilities like remote help application and such. So to do like help desk kind of activities, or IT admins that need to remote into a cloud PC to do some bug fixing or troubleshooting and things like that. So to answer your question, it's still early days, but we plan to support it natively out of the box as well for cloud PCs.
Great. Yeah. So, and I guess that brings in another question that we get commonly about this whole concept of, unified endpoint management, which I really don't think we emphasize that enough. That there are very few. That's been a sort of pie in the sky aspiration for organizations for years that are dealing with complex environments where you've got mobile devices that are core to the way people work, traditional PC type devices, Macs increasingly a part of the picture, as well as wearables. A whole bunch of different types of endpoints come in, and now you can, to be able to really manage your virtual environment, your cloud PCs, end to end from deployment to decommissioning, is a huge development in the industry, because it really makes Endpoint Manager a true end-to-end unified management console. And I think the commitment to endpoint analytics is a reflection of that as well. Everything that we've done in the product to surface information, insights, actions that you can take through endpoint analytics, for cloud PCs is just a reflection of that commitment to not only making this very much aligned to the skills of the endpoint management expert rather than the virtualization expert, but also making MEM a true unified endpoint management console. And we get a common question I'll throw out there: is endpoint analytics included? How does that? What's the story with that, Christian? Is that something you pay extra for? Is it just part of MEM? How does that work?
Yeah, no, so Endpoint Analytics is completely integrated. So you don't pay any extra cost for that. Everything is fixed price as well. So might like might or most of the viewers might know already is that Windows 365 is a fixed price service. So it's very predictable in terms of cost. It gives you 24/7 availability of your cloud PC wherever you are working from, any place. And as well, predictable costs on the monitoring side. So Endpoint Analytics is completely integrated. You get all the features you can leverage in there, like proactive recommendations, resource like monitoring, and like round trip time, latency. All those metrics are completely built in and not causing you any extra cost or something like that. And that's really where customers want to be today. Like in the last 2-3 years with COVID, customers have been like speeding up the digital transformation in like moving to remoting technology, and that's been great for most customers to become productive again. But right now, it's sort of like, did I make the best decision in the last 2 years over time for the next 5 to 10 years? And Windows 365 is really to simplify decisions you perhaps made on different technologies, to make them more simple and merge those into a same management console experience, as Brian just called out. So it's really where customers want to be in the digital transformation moving forward, to enable like users and customers for remote working, regardless from the endpoint scenario they have. So
Great. Well, we've got about 3 minutes left, a couple of minutes left here before the end. Any last questions you have, go ahead and quickly get them in. Right now, what I'll say is that this is come back and take a look at what we're doing on a monthly basis. We're really evolving the product very quickly with the major announcements at Ignite. Kind of define where we're going over the next few months. Those are the big rocks. But it's a service that we're constantly improving, and so anytime you run into the topic of this video that we're doing right now, this session that we're doing right now is about adoption. Any barriers to that, don't hesitate to come to the tech community, ask questions. We're constantly got a flurry of activity there and experts answering the questions, but check back frequently, because we are evolving this product at really a breakneck pace right now. So if something isn't there from a feature perspective today, it's very likely to be there within a few months tops. So do check back frequently.
And just one quick more thing, you see the link ak.ms/W365 feedback. So we again encourage everybody here, if you want to have a new feature in the product, please go to that link, check whether other folks already asked for a new feature that aligns with your feature, and vote it up so we see the urgency coming up. Or just list your new feedback feature request in there as well. We, as part of the Windows 365 engineering team, look daily at that page and prioritize our feature releases every semester based on your feedback. So please go to that link and file your feedback.
Great. All right, we are just about at the top of the hour here, so I want to thank everybody for joining us, being a part of this. It's been a lot of fun, and always love talking about Windows 365. Do join us again for these in the future. This won't be the last. And Christian, really appreciate you coming on and answering questions.
Yeah, thanks folks for joining, and hope to see you at the next event coming up soon. So have a great day.
Yeah, take care.